The Gulf Stream was way rougher than forecast in our crossing over to the Bahamas. And we were out in it for 20 hours or so. We couldn't sail against it. Had to motor against it to get out of it. But we had big problems. Structural problems with our Dinghy Davits. Let me show you. This bolt breaking was the beginning of a failure. This bolt went to this strut right here, which was bolted to the tow rail, and you can see she broke. When that broke, that was the tension backstay for our Dinghy Davits, and as they started to come loose for an emergency, I put this line and this line to help support it to a couple of our winches. And I did that on both sides to try and stay off disaster. So there's one, here's the other winch, trying to hold this all together. And it was a series of failures from there. The wink link broke, which allowed the bolt that went right up there to the solar panels to break, which held the Dinghy Davits square to each other, which allowed the load to shift sideways and break the Dinghy Davits. So both of them are broken. Fortunately, there's still enough of this one up to be holding the solar panels. So we had to put the dinghy down in the water once daylight came. It's too dangerous to do at night and too rough. So we'll have to tow it. But catastrophic failure. We lost the Dinghy Davits, and we're going to try and hodgepodge the support for this corner of the solar panels before we get back underway here in another hour. We have a drawer we keep all sorts of spare pieces of line, and I'm going to need a bunch of this. This 550 cord my brother gave me, parachute cord. So we use some of that, we use some of these, and let's get this secure back there. Another area of failure was in the starboard front quarter, where we've got our braces to our wind generator to the solar panel frame. This connection here come undone. You see, it's just got a little set screw that holds these tubing caps on, and this one here, same thing. This come undone and allowed this corner of the solar panels to collapse onto the bimini. We've got that back together, but we've added some truckers, hitches, and lines to both sides to give this additional inward support so these caps don't slip out. And we're going to have to do something to reinforce those connections. Them little set screws aren't doing it. The little set screw connection here also failed for an additional backstay to this tubing. So that's unacceptable, and that was part of the failure. And where we've got our hinge, we cut out the back of our rail here and put a hinge connection. You can see we've pop riveted these to make them stronger instead of them little set screws. But we had two pop rivets fail, so I'm going to take some line and lash between these to secure that. And we're going to drill all these out, tap them, put in 1/4 inch 20 stainless screws, and end these cap failures. Okay, here's a recap to our temporary repairs using lashing. Where this pole broke loose down here, it's bent up there, but it's still connected there. We've lashed it to the rail here. We've took a mop handle to give the corner of the solar panels a little support. Lashed it here and here, and we've lashed this brace that come loose from here in here. So this is a pretty solid connection. We've lashed from up there where that's leaning out over to there to give that some support, and again put this lashing here for these broken rivets. So I think, although this isn't hurricane rated, she'll give us enough support towing the dinghy, no load on it, to get us to Bimini. And then we'll worry about connecting all the solar panel wires and all back. And until then, we run the generator for power.